It is now 6:30, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Community Development Committee to order. While this meeting is being held in person, we are also offering the option for the public to participate through Zoom if preferred. Instructions on how to attend virtually are included in the City Council calendar item listed on the front page of missionkansas.org. The public is also invited to participate in the meeting. If you are participating through Zoom, please either add your comment to the chat feature and it will be read out loud, or note that you would like to speak and we will call on you shortly to make your comments verbally. Please remember your comments or questions are visible to everyone in the meeting. If you are part of our in-person group tonight, please raise your hand but stay seated and we will call on you to go to the lectern to make your comment. When you make your comment, please state your name and city of residence for the record. Also be conscientious of others trying to speak and speak slowly and clearly. This meeting will be recorded and posted on the city's website at missionkansas.org. Please contact the administration offices at 913-676-8350 with any questions or concerns. Ms. Falks, please call the roll.
Here.
Vaughn.
Here.
Mosa.
Here.
Ryard.
She had to leave.
Crane.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Josie.
Here.
Carpenter Davis.
Here. Our first item of business tonight is public comment. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment now on an item not on our agenda tonight? Please note, public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Seeing none, we have 3 public presentations this evening. The first is presentation from Mayor Flora to proclaim June 2026 as Pride Month in Mission. Mayor Flora, would you like to make the presentation?
Yes, thank you. It is my honor to proclaim June as Pride Month in the City of Mission. Pride Month is a celebration of community, visibility, and the ongoing work to ensure that every person is treated with dignity and respect. It is also an opportunity to recognize the many LGBTQ+ residents, business owners, employees, volunteers, and community leaders who help make Mission a stronger, more vibrant, and more welcoming place. As we recognize Pride Month, we celebrate not only diversity, but also the values of inclusion, understanding, and acceptance that help build strong communities. We acknowledge the progress that has been made while recognizing that there is always more work to do to ensure that all people feel welcome and valued. To our LGBTQ+ community members, I want you to know that you are an important part of Mission's story. You belong in Mission, you matter in Mission, and you make our community better. On behalf of the City Council, and the residents of Mission, I am proud to proclaim June as Pride Month and encourage everyone to join us in celebrating the diversity that strengthens our community.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, we will hear from Nicole Sullivan, Chairperson of the Parks, Recreation, and Tree Commission, for an update on efforts and priorities for 2026. Nicole.
Hi, Council. Thank you for having me, and thanks everybody for being here. It's a real pleasure to be able to stand in front of you as a council and a city staff to share our recommendations as a commission for the Parks, Rec, and Tree Commission. Our commission spends the first 3 months of every year brainstorming, reconvening, and reviewing what we want to see from a parks and green space and community standpoint. And I think it's super valuable to be able to share them with you in person, and hopefully you can use this document as a reference point throughout the year. And I hope some things are familiar. There is some carryover that you'll notice from last year, but then also can use this as a guiding step forward as we're planning not only for this year, but for the future. So I'm kind of just going through the document, and I'm actually going to start at the bottom, reviewing our areas of continued support and growth. Again, things that are going to sound familiar from last year. As a commission, we really want to focus on maintaining current structures. That includes our parks, our trails, our tree canopy, everything that's involved in the park system as far as amenities, playgrounds, and now bathrooms, that we have more bathrooms in our parks. We love the saying, every park, every year, just including in our capital improvement plan to make sure that we're keeping all of our park spaces, even the small spaces, looking their best and sustaining them for the future. We also want to continue emphasizing accessibility and inclusion for all ages, abilities, and communication modes. We as a commission support policies that prioritize park safety, equitable access, and community use regardless of housing status. And we want to continue social media posts and education for parks and recreation activities, events, and programs. As you all know, the community center does a really great job. Their staff works really hard to do a lot of really fun annual events and then always coming up with new ones. In addition to events that commission members actually volunteer for, like the Arbor Day events that happen every year, in addition to programs that always need that reinforcement and re-education to the community, like the celebration tree, the championship tree, and then county-wide programs like Contain the Rain, and more education on sustainable yard practices and just that environmental aspect of being a homeowner and community member is something that we're always talking about in our commission meetings. And lastly on this list is continuing to advocate and volunteer as a commission with events and initiatives that's going on throughout the city. We're excited to be engaged in all the events happening this year with the 75th anniversary of the city. And we have a really active commission right now. With every event that Penn and his crew puts on, you're most likely to see at least one person there from our commission volunteering. And we'll be at the Mission Market tomorrow, volunteering at a table there, sharing with the community. So that's been very valuable as being a commission member. We've not only been able to be more involved in our community, but then also learn to know each other as community members and neighbors too. So we have a list of 6 items that we tried to narrow down. It is challenging to narrow down, so know that there's always things that we are loving to talk about and brainstorming throughout the year. But we did narrow it down to this list, and I'll go from top to bottom. Number 1 on our list this year is citywide trail connections and accessibility. The city has done so much work and supporting so much work with planning and studies to continue to grow our network of trails and accessibility. The first thing that comes to mind is the citywide bicycle and pedestrian plan that was completed and finalized last year. And we hope that we just continue to see the city build upon those recent design projects and with the emphasis on safely connecting residents to city parks, the business district, and then the surrounding neighborhood and communities. Another focus that within all of that we want to emphasize is the beautification, stormwater management, wayfinding with clear access points to trails, and cohesiveness with all of the parks, including the market area, the community center, and the aquatic center. We hope that as we're looking at where to start with some of these larger projects, that we're prioritizing the gaps in the trail system, really focusing on those accessible opportunities at parking or at crosswalking areas and parking lot areas, and wayfinding, just to continue connecting everything. We also really recommend supporting the continued updates and phases for phase 2 of the Rock Creek Trail study that's currently happening. And we hope to see more of a long-term plan and budget for all phases of the Rock Creek Trail updates in the surrounding corridor. Anderson Park is number 2. This park does not have a finalized conceptual design, and that is something that we would recommend pursuing this year and planning ahead for to allow for updates in the playgrounds, the amenities there, and we'd love to see a new art installation and prioritizing access to the Rock Creek Trail and just the neighborhood in general. Number 3 is going to be our Mission Market Park area and planning ahead for updates and budgeting for updates. This is considering the original Mission Market area, not the temporary one, but we're excited to see the stormwater updates beginning and all those plans coming to fruition. But having a finalized conceptual plan of what else will be included in that whole park area and along the trail system would be really, really valuable. Obviously, phase 1 that happened, phase 1 Rock Creek Corridor study that happened 2-ish years ago included that whole area. So we have some really great starting points and ideas for that area, but having a conceptual design plan will allow us to move even faster as we get the funding and organize that. One area that we're really excited within that park space is the idea of having a community and or demonstration garden in that Mission Market area. Last year, for years, we've actually been talking about getting a community garden, getting more landscaping and nature into our park system. And we connected and prioritized as a subcommittee last year, working with the Kansas Master Gardeners Program. So it's the K-State Extension Office. We had a subcommittee focus on what are the requirements and filling out an application and helping Penn, like looking into what all that would entail to get that on their radar. And that application has been submitted and accepted by the Master Gardener program, knowing that it's going to be super valuable to potentially have them as a partner from the get-go as we're still just designing what that space could look like. So that's something we're super excited about as a commission, and we hope that you all will be supportive and excited about it too. Moving on to community engagement and education and the fun word of funding and donations. There's always opportunity to increase publicity for lots of different aspects of our parks, but one thing that we have considered a lot as a commission is making it more obvious where we're spending money from the sales tax that we're earning and where that's going, and making it very clear to community members that we're using it and it's doing really amazing things. We've talked about installing temporary signage, maybe for those smaller projects like a new bench, being like, hey, this was funded by our sales tax that you approved and that everybody is helping with. And then also permanent signage, maybe for those larger scale updates. Again, just making it more like transparent, yeah, and accessible, like to anybody that's visiting. It's like, oh, there's a sales tax. Oh, this is actually getting used for something good. And I think we see that on social media and even on like the city website, but having it more obvious if someone's coming to the space, whether they're a resident or a visitor, I think is really good to be able to see that. Another opportunity would be to expand and advertise opportunities for community members and businesses to financially support their parks and recreation projects, specifically from a individual or family level, looking at promoting tax-deductible legacy planning for continued care and development of Mission Park system as a whole through the Mission Charitable Trust, making it more accessible and maybe just spreading the word that it's an option, big or small. How can you plan to leave your legacy, especially in like your little hometown of Mission? Even if it's a small gift, like it can go a long way. So we hope that even on the individual level, that we could explore that opportunity to potentially fund more of these big and small projects. In addition to that, we would love to pursue more corporate sponsors to support projects and or phases of larger projects, whether that be local businesses or some of the larger corporations that live here in Mission as well. And then as far as like additional engagement and education, we want to see continued content for the Mission magazine and just social media in general. Last two here, parks are continuing to like add more really fun amenities and more personality. And another way to just amplify that is going to be with public art installations, something that we've been advocating for the last several years. But we really think that public art would increase the aesthetic, and we could consider murals and actual sculptural structures as well. I know there's ideas floating around and things in the works, but I think just having more murals and more art and color around the city could be really neat. We'd love to see those artists that we asked to be involved or who we explore to use would be members of the community and the Kansas City Metro. There's a lot of different plans going on in cities and neighbors nearby who have like more designated like programs for art and public art. And it'd be super interesting to just even have a small scale of that, or even just a couple of murals or rotation of sculptures that we might rent or something like that. So we're always interested in what those opportunities may be. And then lastly, but potentially most importantly, is our staff at the Parks and Recreation Department. This year, we're specifically supporting increasing or upgrading 2 part-time staff that we have on the Parks and Recreation and upgrading that to 1 full-time position. Taylor and his crew do an amazing job, and with the growth of the park system, we know more, and I'm sure you guys know as well, that it's going to take consistent work and dedication to keep our things looking nice. So we would love to have more consistent full-time staff on the team. And that also includes retaining and trying to keep our full and part-time staff at our other facilities as well. So not just parks, but the Powell Community Center and the Aquatic Center. trying to retain those part-time staff, both seasonally and for those routine needs as well. But yeah, that is a very quick little summary of all the things. We really appreciate everything that you guys do and all the support that you have shown us. And as you know, a commission, we see your work and we see your efforts and passion behind a lot of the projects that we're passionate about too. So thank you.
Yeah, I have a question.
Debbie, she has a question.
No, it's
Mhm.
not, it's a comment.
Oh, comment, okay.
I want to thank you for your leadership. It shows throughout every success that we're meeting between you and Penn and the rest of the group. But I also want to do a special shout out to Jackie Gamison. She has been not only an expert in tree preservation, she is amazing. The schools all know her by first name. They know what she does and what the impact is she has on the community. If you want to call her, I identified a tree as a cedar one day. She goes, absolutely not. And she corrected me and told me not only how long does the tree live, where it should be planted, what the root system looks like. She's amazing. We are fortunate in this community to have someone like that on the Parks and Rec and at our schools. And pretty much everywhere you are, you'll see Jackie, but I just want to shout out to her.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
We're constantly learning from her on the commission as well. We love it.
Wanda?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. On the Mission Charitable Trust, is that already part of the city or is that something you're going to develop?
So the Mission Charitable Trust already exists, and that is currently the easiest way to donate to the city and any aspect of it. There's not a specific like checkbox or something like that to distinguish, like if it's like a park-based project, from my understanding. But yeah, so that's something that already exists that we in the city could utilize to like foster donations.
Then the second thing is under areas of continued support, you have community use regardless of housing status. I'm just confused as to what that means.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that everybody has equitable access to be able to use parks in all capacity. That was something we added to this document last year, and we just continue to support all individuals who want to use a public space.
Josepha?
I think Wanda may have a follow-up question.
I
You have
just
to
still
live here to
don't-
use the
So-
parks.
So
You
it,
have to live
it,
here to use the parks.
You have to
No.
live.
Do not.
I think what that specifically means is that if you are an unhoused individual, that you are welcome during our park hours, like
Uh-huh.
any other member of the public, to use our park
Oh,
facilities.
yeah, that's,
Right?
you know what I thought,
Yeah.
but it was not very clear to me. Thank you.
I have a quick question,
Mhm.
and I think that this is maybe a shared responsibility between this commission and sustainability. But on the education side of things, the question around like how to provide additional education around the use of native plants and especially swapping invasive plants for things that we do especially want in Mission, is that something that falls in y'all's area of communications, or is that going to be in sustainability or?
I think as far as like something that we would advocate for, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great question as far as like who's responsible for it. And a lot of this document is, you know, just giving Penn and his staff a guiding point and you guys a guiding point. But also I definitely think there's opportunity for it to come from Parks and Rec, but then also partnering with other experts like and people who are passionate about native plants and all that realm of environmental sustainability with a commission that is called that. But yeah, I definitely think we've discussed like opportunities to partner with them more because we know that, you know, Penn and his team do a lot and the city does a lot. And so how can we use all of our resources, passions, and expertise to like share that more widely?
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
One last comment. I do think that the native plants are beautiful, but some of them are actually getting a little bit out of their border. Not that I think that's a problem, but it may be. I'm not sure.
They're thriving. They're growing.
Very healthy.
Thanks, Nicole. Do you mind if you stay up here while I introduce the rest of some of our commission members? So joining us today, we've got Chris Schlenker, Katie Anderson, Jackie Gameson, and Cindy Long. So we want to call out their attendance tonight. Are they only online? Okay. Well, I appreciate everything that they do publicly because you really are advocating for the city of Mission and volunteers. There's no truer form of volunteering than sitting in a commission, being a council member, and showing your love for the community. So I appreciate all that they do. But thanks.
Thank you. Our final public presentation tonight will come from Alexa Root of Mission Sustainability Commission with an annual update of successes from 2025 and review of their recently updated strategic plan.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us. This is a great opportunity, and I'm really excited to be able to talk with you all. I'm Alexa Root. I'm the chair of the commission, and then we have Josh Thede, who was the chair last year. So here in a moment, we'll have him speak. Can you guys hear me all right? Just want to make sure. Roll it down. Okay, there we go. How's that? Is that better? All right. So just getting into this. So we have in 2026, this was our year to look at our strategic plan. So in March, we had our strategic retreat, and we spoke about all the history of the Sustainability Commission and some of the work that we really wanted to pull our focus and our attention to, so that we were really giving the 100% focus to the things that are important to the city, as well as the Sustainability Commission, and how we can truly impact, all the great work that we've done with the community for all ages, with parks, and truly just making sure that on the climate action side, we are truly making an impact with that. So we'll get into a little bit of the strategic plan and what we're looking at. Then we'll have Josh speak on the achievements of what we've looked at over in 2025 and all the great things that the group has done. And then lastly, we will get into the 2026 goals that we will plan on looking throughout the rest of the year. So first off, the strategic plan goals. So what we have done is we have created three focus points for us to really look at the goals and the items that we want to pour our energy into. So those three are environmental, community, and educate. So for environmental, we really strive to maximize the city's environmental impact by accelerating the solutions highlighted in the Climate Action Plan. So that is something that we really would like to get back into, is the Climate Action Plan, and making sure that we're really making progress on all the great work that went into that plan. For community, we are going to cultivate a resilient and welcoming community for people of all ages and abilities. There's a lot of progress with the community for all ages, and we really want to make sure that we're upholding the checklist as well as that gold certificate. And then for educate, we strive to empower individuals to care for the environment by raising awareness on eco-friendly habits. So this is something that, once again, we'd really like to, we spoke with Nicole a couple, last month, 2 months ago, maybe, to really think about how we can come together as two commissions and really use our power. Josefa, you asked the question of, whose responsibility is it? It's all of our responsibility. And so if one of us has an idea, sustainability and parks, they really do go hand in hand. And so really making sure that the volunteers that are volunteering their time every month, and there are members who have, like Terry's in the back here. She's been, is it 10 years? 10 years on the commission. And it's really important for us to focus our energy so that we're not taking advantage of the people who are volunteering their time, as well as making sure that the things that they are passionate about we're able to focus on that. So that being said, we'll go ahead and have Josh take a look at the achievements with you all. that we were able to accomplish in 2025. Thank you.
Thanks, Alexa. Josh Thede, the 2025 Chair of Sustainability Commission. I'd like to first make a plug. We have 2 openings on the commission right now. So if you're listening online and would like to join this awesome group of citizen volunteers, we would love to have you. I would like to thank 3 specific people for their service to Sustainability Commission who have not chosen to be reappointed: John Arnett, Lauren Ryder-Schmidt, and Jen Schouten. Thank you for your time on the Sustainability Commission. Highlighting a couple achievements from 2025, we have been busy as always. Scorecard plaques. We got a tour of the Lanes of Mission Bowl and handed out their scorecard. Mission Vale and Mission Flats have done the scorecard process, and we're currently in the process of creating those plaques, and we'll get those handed out soon. We've also tried to educate ourselves as a commission group with guest speakers about building codes, guest speakers from an organization called Reuseful, and lots of interaction with different community for all ages webinars. Thank you for allocating the budget. Some items that we highlight for the big budget items is a program with ICLEI, which tracks our carbon footprint and recommends some strategies for climate action. We also spend some of the budget on recycling batteries and recycling holiday lights to divert those and keep them out of the landfill. 2025 was another big year for battery recycling, 1,371 pounds, down just slightly from 2024 of 1,400 pounds. So we've also provided education and tabling at different events. The Go Green Environmental Fair, save the date, October 17th. It will happen again, 2026. We've tabled at the farmers market and a few other city events, and each Earth Week we have hosted a recycling education workshop. In addition to all that, we have tried to reach out of our own silo and get connected with other places. We have some liaisons going back and forth to Mission Parks Rec and Tree Commission, especially championing the tree drive while that was going on last year. Climate Action KC has hosted some regional roundtables, and we've had people attend those from our commission. We attended the citywide cleanup and volunteered, and we're involved in the Streets for All and the Rock Creek Trail Phase 2 opportunities.
Thank you so much, Josh. So lastly, but definitely not least, are our 2026 goals. So once again, pulling into that, the environmental, community, and education goals, we really wanted to make sure that we had enough bandwidth for the 2026, the remaining year. And so what we're going to focus on is this new idea of the Green Business Recognition, where we will launch the Green Business Recognition to acknowledge and support local businesses advancing community wellness and climate action. And so that's going to take a lot of focus, but there's every single person on the Sustainability Commission is very passionate about that. And we really are wanting to take time to think about that, all the work that goes into that. But we do find it very important to take a look at our local businesses and really making sure that we're recognizing all the great work that is going on in our local businesses. So that's something to be looking forward to. And then our booth presence. So we have really started to look into what content we are bringing into our booths. So we're really wanting to expand family-friendly booth presence at events to deliver hands-on education regarding recycling, composting, native planting, and carbon emissions. So for example, this year at the Bunning Extravaganza, we had the native seeds that were purchased from the local, is it Mac? Mac, thank you very much. So we purchased a bulk seed package from them, and we got together. We have a mission sustainability stamp now to try to put our logo out there. But the kids apparently there was a longer line at the seed to get seeds than to get candy. So I'm gonna take that one and run with it. So like that, for example, we really want to make sure that we're looking into recycling, composting, native planting, and carbon emissions to make sure that we're really hitting those three, the environmental, community, and educate. Then the cross-commission partnerships. So once again, partner with local and surrounding commissions to host joint education events and expand on our network of impact. It is, once again, having volunteers, it is really, they can do a lot, and it is really amazing what everybody is able to do and what they're willing to provide for the city. But we really want to make sure that we're not overexerting ourselves. And so really working and using the tools, why would we spend countless hours to try to come up with a new idea or to find solutions whenever our local commissions might have the answer for it already? So those are our three goals for 2026. And I'm excited to have you guys see some of this work be put into action. So thank you so much. And yes, if you'd like to step up here and we'll take any questions that you guys have.
Wanda?
I really don't have a question, but I do want to applaud the fact that you used a mission business. That's really important, that we support our businesses that are in this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alexa.
Great.
Josh?
Thank you so much.
I just have a quick comment. Also, in your printed out packets, this last page is to take home. It's
Oh,
goals
yes.
and things. Yep. It's the one pager for reference.
I did.
You just
forget
worked
to
really
mention
hard on
that.
it, so I wanted to make sure we mentioned it existed.
You're highlighting the strategic plan or yes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is a strategic plan, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Really impressive commissions we have and great community volunteers. Now we'll move on.
Yeah, she's the only. Hi, Terry.
Okay, we'll move into action items now. Our first action item this evening is acceptance of the meeting minutes from Robin Folks.
Yes, thank you. Draft copies of the May 6, 2026 Community Development Committee meeting are included for review and acceptance in your packet tonight.
Consent? Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Our second action item this evening is for consideration of an interlocal agreement with the city of Roeland Park for work along 50th Street from Stephanie Boyce.
Good evening. So we are seeking approval of an interlocal agreement between the City of Mission and Roeland Park for public improvements to 50th Street from the Mission City limit to Reed's Road as part of Roeland Park's 2026 street maintenance program. Roeland Park is getting ready to start their street maintenance project construction. It's already been designed. A portion of 50th Street east of Reed's Road is located within the City of Mission limits and adjacent to Roeland Park. There's a map in here. It's kind of a weird layout where they have the cul-de-sac and we have the part entering the cul-de-sac. And then Reed's is Mission. So as part of their project, they asked if we wanted to contribute to have the portion of 50th Street that resides in Mission paved. And we thought that that would be good use of our money to help improve a portion of the street. Reed's was paved, we believe, in 2021, but we didn't have it, I guess, in the budget at that time to do that portion of 50th Street. This portion of our street would be a 2-inch mill and overlay. And like I said, we're supporting this. Roeland Park's leading the project. They're designing it, they're constructing it, and we are simply paying them to do a mill and overlay on our road. The estimated total construction for this project is $638,808. Our estimated share is $13,065. Construction is anticipated to start in July of 2026. And so approval of this interlocal agreement would obligate the City of Mission to contribute funding for its portion of the project. And while the expense wasn't specifically budgeted, staff believes that the relatively low cost presents a good opportunity to improve our infrastructure. I'll take any questions if you have any. Yes.
Brian?
I just want to clarify that if I'm reading this map correctly, it's literally just that
Yes.
stretch.
In between the two red lines.
Okay. So it's the three, looks like the three homes that are
Yes.
affected by it. Okay.
Ben?
Well, while I support the action item, I'm just, is this arrangement something everybody likes? Do we like having this cul-de-sac like this? Do they like it? Food for
We
thought.
just
I don't
gave
know.
them that stretch.
It's the real question. Should we give it to them once
Yeah.
it
Take
gets
it.
improved?
Take
or
it. Yeah, one of the two.
No, I don't want the cul-de-sac.
Right.
They can have the street.
Well, okay. Sounds like we're fine where we are.
We haven't asked the question. I
like the idea
Some of the
entirely.
conversations about moving boundary lines between Roeland Park and Mission predate me, but I understand Councilmember Kring may remember some of those discussions were more significant
Yeah.
to the neighbors than.
Well, I was gonna say, there would be actual residents impacted, right?
Yes,
if you-
yes.
Yeah.
Well, just seems odd. I feel like I shouldn't have brought it up, actually.
I say I don't want the cul-de-sac. It has nothing to do with the people on it. It's just the cul-de-sacs just are, from a financial perspective, the least efficient way to maintain streets. I just don't want the obligation of it. But would very much like to see, like, it just makes sense that they would have the street if they have the cul-de-sac too.
Right.
But it's not a thing I want to get into today. Yeah.
I regret it entirely.
I think that's another conversation for another day.
Wanda?
Just want to make sure we have the money.
Yes.
Consent or regular agenda?
Regular agenda. I've got two opinions.
Yep, regular wins.
Regular. Okay, our final action item this evening is for approval of Army Corps of Engineers stream mitigation credits for the Rock Creek Channel Improvement Project from Brent Morton.
Stephanie's a little shorter than me. Yes, this is the Rock Creek Stormwater Improvement Project. It is our 2026 SMP project, and we'll be rolling into 2027 as well. It is supported by SMP funding at 50% for, excuse me, construction expenses, inspection cost, and also design costs that we are already tapping into right now, getting into final design. The Rock Creek Channel corridor between Woodson and Maple is a critical component of our creek channel system and has had the most failures along that segment since I've been here. So we've got 3 main failures in those segments, and also the 2 bridges on Outlook and Reeds are rated in the poorest condition in our KDOT inventory. So regardless of the Creek Channel project in the next 5 years, we'd have to start budgeting to replace those bridges. So this is the best funding mechanism to help that cover those costs. That's kind of the urgency of the projects. The improvements, we're widening, deepening the channel, bringing some of that property out of the floodplain, hardening the walls, burying some of the creek channel for more green space, replacing 2 bridges as discussed earlier, new trail alignment. It's going to kind of hug more of the creek channel itself, so opening up more green space as well. Trail lighting, basically from Woodson to just past Reeds, kind of headed towards Cat Fed or the end of that project. And upgraded sanitary sewer system and water infrastructure. The sanitary's covered most of the costs by the SMP, and then water is 100% reimbursed. We bid the project, but then they reimburse us. We've already brought that agreement forward a few months ago.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
How many properties will still be left in with the stormwater issue?
You mean the
said
floodplain?
The floodplain.
So some green space, but not like the actual building footprint as it is now.
Thanks.
Like the buildings won't be in the floodplain anymore, but there'll still be a little bit of green space, just because we don't have the room to widen it as much capacity is required. So, and they changed the model recently, which changed kind of how that floodplain is mapped. As part of this permitting process, it's with the Corps or USACE, requires a compensatory stream mitigation to offset the impacts of our excavation and actually physically getting into that creek channel, and rebuilding it. So you submit the plans to the Corps. They work through the permitting process and they come up with that stream mitigation credit number. So we really don't have any control over that. And that just is, we are paying into a bank that they will mitigate a wetland or something somewhere else for the impacts that we are doing to the water system with this project. So we have no control over that number. They also told us to go to Shallowtail LLC. That's the only people they vetted and referred us to, and they're the ones that give us that credit number. It's only good for 3 months because the market changes. So I think that number fluctuates. So this agreement's only good for 3 months. And that total number is $120,516. We had $150 in the budget. Olson was the designer on this project, and they've done more of these permits and mitigation credits than I've been part of. This is my first one for a project this scale. So there's available budget. We had 150 estimated for this, so it came in under that. Be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure I understood this relates to the actual like disruption during construction as opposed to any like long-term impacts of the channel or things
Yes.
like that. Okay. And then my other point, because I know we have some newer folks on council, maybe good to highlight for the public. And just as a refresher, because you mentioned you're not being able to expand the channel by a certain amount and the walls. Could you just briefly highlight why we're doing concrete again? Because I know we looked at some kind of greener alternatives and the constraints of the channel were an issue there, right?
Yes, so Woodson is tight to get that box culvert through there to get that capacity. We're going as big as we can there. But then as you go around past Woodson, we've got all those apartments that are sitting up on that hill. We do not want to get into those walls that are holding those apartments up to cause them to slide down that slope and be responsible for all that. So that really drastically reduced our footprint of where we could put it. And you can only go so deep to get the water to move downstream. So we're getting it as wide and as deep as possible in the constraints that we're working with on this project and still being able to get the trail in there and make everything come together.
And some of, if I'm remembering right from a few years back, some of the greener solutions require a like broader angle on your channel walls and things like that. Is that
That is
right?
correct.
Yeah.
The setbacks and how far you gotta set the
Yeah.
slopes back and all that stuff, you will end up.
In Johnson
Great.
Drive.
Yeah. So not
You'll be
feasible,
back door.
not feasible unless you were going to,
By
taking out property, et cetera.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think, so the section from Woodson headed to the east is actually going to be undergrounded for a certain number of feet. So that will be green when you, as opposed to it being an open channel now, correct? That hasn't changed. Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
I got this backward once, so it's good for me to check. So there's more green space there, but then you'll also recall that when, as part of the Millhouse project, when Beverly Park was sold, we also committed and dedicated several of the parcels that had been acquired through the years in that floodplain as parkland, which means that it takes a specific vote of the public or the potential for a public vote to convert it to anything else. And so those are parcels that we've identified, many of them being greened up through this project, but then also into the future, looking at incorporating the recommendations from the Rock Creek Trail Corridor Studies 1 and 2 to give us more of those green space amenities in and around the trail. Ben?
Okay, I kind of want to dig into what exactly we're doing here. So what are these credits? How do they calculate these credits? And what is the harm that we're supposed to be doing here that's worth sending dollars out of our city limits for?
So we apply for the permit through the Corps.
Right.
Send them probably 75% plans. And that's when they come up with the stream credit number. I don't know how they calculate that necessarily. I could ask Olson, they might have a better take on how that's done. But that's the way they steered me, is we submit the plans and then you get the credits. And it really helps streamline, is the way they told me, of environmental impacts. It keeps your project moving and it covers your excavation limits and all that.
Yeah, I understand it's expedient for a lot of different reasons, but I'm more interested in
I did a
why are we spending 121?
little bit of legwork. Well, because we're required. So
I know
we-
we're required to.
we
That
can't get
doesn't
the
tell
permit
what
from
the purpose of them
So
is.
what the money will do is, so, and I only researched this a tiny little bit before getting the packet out. I think that the permit credits are based on a certain cubic yard of area that's disturbed within the jurisdictional watershed or area. So they come up with the number. Then we have the option to purchase, we can either do a project ourselves that satisfies the core to offset that, or we can purchase these stream mitigation credits from a company who is doing wetland restoration or that type of work someplace else. So we have to do it, and we have two options. Typically, as I understand it, purchasing the credits is less expensive because we don't have the expertise, nor do we necessarily have, particularly in this situation, in an urban channel situation where we're not going to be building and conserving wetlands. So we really don't necessarily have a conservation project to take on specifically associated with these stream credits. And so you look for a Corps of Engineer approved provider who you can purchase those from. And I think I included a link in the packet because again, I just wasn't familiar with it and I wanted to go a little bit down that rabbit hole and understand, but that kind of showed and demonstrated the type of projects where our dollars will be going to help preserve those wetlands. So if there's additional information between now and the council meeting, we can.
Right.
try to
And
get that.
I looked at the project. It's a beautiful project and I think it's well worth somebody doing something in Leavenworth County. It's a bit contrived that it would be us helping with that, but you know, so be it. That's how the rules work. What I'm interested in is what are we doing that's disturbing our wetlands? How are we losing some sort of, you know, welfare of our wetlands and aquatic systems here? And if we are doing something, even if it's more expensive, wouldn't we want to fix it here?
I think Brent and I can work with Olson, but again, some of the things that I read to educate myself would suggest that it's not that as direct a correlation as you would anticipate in an urban situation. And so let me share some of those resources and see what Olson
I'd appreciate that.
can bring to the table as well.
The intuition I get from the action item is that it has to do really with, we're moving dirt that creates sediment. That's a problem, right? But again, happy to go fix it in Leavenworth County if that's how the game is played. What's Fairway going to have a bunch of sediment and you know, downstream and nothing ever happens? It just seems awfully contrived and disjointed. So.
And we aren't disturbing an endangered species or some of those kinds of things. So, we'll get some more information to you as well. Wanda?
Yeah, that was my thoughts were that it was because we were upsetting up above us and below us. I mean, that we were upsetting other things. That's why we had to do this. Is that not correct?
We are also disturbing the footprint of the creek channel we're working in. So
It's not quite off.
what?
It's not just ours. I mean, we don't have, just because it flows through us doesn't mean it's ours.
So it's a waterway regulated by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer, which drives all of the permitting. And the 404, I believe, is the Clean Water Act.
Yeah. But the portion we're
Regulations.
disturbing is located in Mission.
Correct. So yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mayor?
Yeah, I was just going to clarify, and Ben, it might not make you like the answer anymore, but when I was first talking about this with Laura, the way I thought about it was sort of greenhouse gas emission credits, right? You can decide not to do the creek project, which I think would have dire consequences, and then not have to have mitigation, or similarly to you can decide, you know, not to fly to Australia and feel bad about the environmental impact, or, you know, you can do it and purchase greenhouse gas emission credits. That is not exactly a 1-for-1, but I think you do have to sort of take a whole earth mindset to the topic, which again, may not be exactly what we would prefer if we were writing the federal policy, and we might prefer that we could do other environmental mitigation projects that made sense for our city, but that was kind of the way that I wrapped my head around it.
I hear you, and I'm happy to take the whole earth policy, and I understand the policy from that perspective. The things that are outstanding for me are sort of, one, I have similar questions around greenhouse gas credits, although perhaps worse here, since greenhouse gases are gases and sediment is definitely not going to Australia in any way, shape, or form, or even Leavenworth County. So it's just like, I want to understand, if we're paying $120,000, there's no way to get out of it. That's fine. We're going to do the project. But what's the justification for that is the main thing.
Debbie?
What do we know about Swallowtail LLC? Have they done any projects that we're aware of?
No, this is the first time I've had to get stream mitigation credits, and this is the only company the Corps recommended to me to purchase the credits from. So they didn't give me any other options. This is who they recommend, who they vetted, and that's who I got to go through to get the permit.
If I may, I sort of got hung up on this. So I looked them up. I looked up the project and the permit and everything, and they've got a lot of pictures on their site. And they, in the packet, there's just very fine print details about sort of how those credits get calculated and tracked and sold to us. And it looks like a very worthy project, no doubt. It's something that needed to happen, and they appear to have done a good job with it. And the Corps oversees the program well, as far as I can see. So I don't think there's, to me, looking into it just a bit, I didn't have any suspicions about Swallowtail. They look like they're perfectly above board.
My sense was when Brent says vetted, it's similar to KDOT having pre-approved contractors or inspectors, that they aren't having to look at credentials every time someone comes forward on a project. But I don't know that for sure about Swallowtail. But again, we'll get.
Okay, consent to regular agenda? Consent?
Recommend consent.
I would say regular agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Regular.
Regular.
Yeah, it really only takes one
Person to, yeah.
council or member of the public to ask that we openly discuss an item.
We do not have any discussion items this evening. Before we adjourn, Ms. Smith, are there any department updates for the Community Development Committee?
Yes, I believe Mr. Almany, Ms. Boyce, Mr. Scott, and Ms. Folks have updates. Do you have any?
Ah.
You can go F and A. Yeah, Jen, yes.
I just wanted to share with you that the Mission Family Aquatic Center is operational. First full week under our belts, and happy to say that this point last year, year over year, we're up 18% in membership sales. So it could be in part due to some extended promotional period, but the marketing definitely has paid off. Thanks.
Good work.
What's the water temperature at, Penn? Trying to figure out when we can take the little one.
I would hold, yeah, I would hold off a little bit longer. Yeah.
I just wanted to remind everybody that next Tuesday, June 9th, from 4 to 6 p.m., we have our Public Works Open House. So that's gonna kind of end our Public Works Week, a little extension of that to give the public and our council and visitors a behind the scenes look of what Public Works does. Last year, I think it was pretty successful, and we heard a lot of good feedback. So we're gonna do it again. Bring your little ones and come touch a truck and honk a horn and color some 75th birthday coloring sheets and wish Mission a happy birthday and thank Public Works.
Okay, so April 29th, we had a work session. We talked about the building codes. I know that was absolutely riveting for all of us. Since that time, I've been going through all those ordinances I shared with you, just kind of giving them one last scrub to get rid of all the typos, make sure everything is copacetic and get all the boilerplate language that we need. We've also been working on a landing page on our website that highlights that information so people can go look at it. And we've been setting up a kind of a community engagement listening post, if you will. So we're going to have a code workshop on Wednesday morning, June 17th at 9 a.m. And that's going to be a virtual meeting. And we're going to invite our builders that we work with here in the community, developers like Mr. Floodman and his team, and some of the other developers we've worked with. All of you will get an invitation, all the members of the Sustainability Commission, the Parks and Recreation Tree Board, and the Planning Commission. And then we'll also have some community stakeholders, Climate Action KC and the Green Council Building, and some other folks out there in the community that would be interested in this. So I will be sending out an invitation tomorrow morning to that meeting, so you should all be getting that. And then that information will be on our website as well as kind of a link to each of those ordinances with all the detailed information about the amendments in those ordinances. Then we'll also kind of highlight some of the key changes that we're making or amendments that we're making. So we'll record that virtual meeting and we'll kind of take comments as well. If people can't make it, we'll have an opportunity to send comments through the website or literally to me. I will collect them. And then we'll take all the comments and we'll bring them back to you all at a council work session on Wednesday, June 24th. And so, and if anybody would like to come and speak to you all, that might be the opportunity to do that as well. And then we're shooting, if all goes well, we're shooting for council adoption on the 15th of July. So that's kind of the schedule for building codes. So we're rapidly working towards bringing all this to a close. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm guessing that you all know what I'm going to talk to you about, and that's the Mission Market. Tomorrow night we open the season. It's our 12th season, and we are in our home away from home on the west side at Broadmoor Park, 4:30 to 8. Our lineup is robust and exciting. I have to give a huge shout out to our special projects coordinator and market coordinator, Leanne Zare. She's worked really hard this year, not only to completely reimagine all of the things that happen every night at the Mission Market, but also to build some really fun special events. I emailed you all yesterday to see if you wanted to help us market the event and with a yard sign. So they're outside the door here and I'll hand them out at the end of the meetings tonight. But please feel free to take one home, put it in your front yard. We'll have a few extras that'll be first come, first serve for residents. Also just trying to sort of get the word out in the different areas of town. And we hope you join us tomorrow night. And if you are a person that looks for guidance as far as weather, we would love your thoughts about some decenter weather than they're calling for tomorrow night. So hopefully the storms miss us from 4:30 to 8. And then my second announcement is, as you know, we did our Pride Proclamation earlier tonight, and I thank you all for your willingness to go on a field trip outside for a fun photo. We'll be sharing that on through a blog post on our website and on our social media tomorrow morning, and then also highlighting some fun local community events related to Pride. Our friends over at the City of Prairie Village, their diversity committee is hosting a Pride event this Saturday, June 6th at Harmon Park from 11 to 3. And then our friends at Truly Madly Depot and the book club down on Johnson Drive have coordinated a really, really exciting Pride in the Park event. That is going to be Saturday, June 27th from 10 to 4. They have every fun activity you could ever imagine, including a rainbow picnic where you choose a color of the rainbow and bring a snack that matches that color. Or you dress in that color and you find your people that are also in that color. So their creativity knows no bounds, and it sounds like it'll be a really great event. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah, the west side of the market site where the picnic tables and the food trucks would serve from at our original market site location, and then in their sidewalk space in front of the shops. Thank you.
Is that on? Okay, it is now 7:30 p.m. and with no further discussion, that concludes the meeting of the Community Development Committee. Again, this video will be made public on our website at missionkansas.org. Thank you.
It is now 7:30 p.m. and I'd like to call this meeting of the Finance and Administration Committee to order. While this meeting is being held in person, we are also offering the option for the public to participate through Zoom if preferred. Instructions on how to attend virtually are included in the City Council calendar item listed on the front page of missionks.org. The public is also invited to participate in the meeting. If you are participating through Zoom, please either add your comment in the chat feature and it will be read out loud,
or note that you would like to speak, and we will call on you shortly to make your comment verbally. Please remember your comments or questions are visible to everyone in the meeting. If you are part of our in-person group tonight, please raise your hand and stay seated, and we will call on you to go to the lectern to make your comment. When you make your comment, please state your name and city of residence for the record. Also be conscientious of others trying to speak, and speak slowly and clearly. This meeting will be recorded and posted on the city's website at missionks.org. Please contact the administration offices at 913-676-8350 with questions or concerns. Ms. Folks, please call the roll.
Here.
Vaughn,
Here.
Camosa,
Here.
Green,
Here.
Schmidt,
Here.
Susie,
Here.
Carpenter Davis.
Here.
We do have a revised agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve the revised agenda?
Mr. Chairperson, I move the committee approve the June 3rd, 2026 Finance and Administration Committee revised agenda as printed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Folks, please call the roll.
Hayden Composi,
Aye.
Vaughn,
Aye.
Camosa,
Aye.
Green,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Carpenter Davis.
Aye.
Josie,
Aye.
motion carries.
Thank you. We will now proceed with our agenda. Our first item of business tonight is public comment. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment now on an item that is not on our agenda tonight? Please note, public comments are limited to 3 minutes. I do not see anyone physically here. There is no one online. So we'll close comment and move on to public presentations, which we also do not have any. So we're going to move to our action items. Our first action item this evening is the acceptance of the meeting minutes from Robin Folks.
Yes, thank you. A draft copy of the May 6th Finance and Administration Committee meeting minutes are included for review and acceptance in your packet tonight.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? Can I get a recommendation then, please?
Recommend acceptance on consent.
Consent, thank you. Our final action item this evening is for consideration of a special event permit application for the KB Complete Anniversary Picnic from Robin Folks.
Yes, hi. Thank you. As you may have seen in your packet, our friends over at KB Complete are celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. They have booked the large shelter at Mohawk Park for Saturday, July 17th for an evening celebration. They're planning on doing some large-scale grilling. They've invited all of their staff and families. Well, I think just because of the number of people, that's how it's described. They've invited staff and families. It's not open to the public. It's not an event that they have invited customers to. It's simply an internal celebration. So they're doing some inflatable rentals. They're doing a large kickball game, which sounds really exciting and could be really fun with staff and families. And they have asked for permission to allow alcohol at the event. They were originally hoping for a sponsorship with a brewery, but because of Kansas liquor laws, that was going to be a difficult lift. So they are working on some alternative plans. Could be as simple as BYOB. The event is really family friendly. They don't anticipate any sort of overconsumption issues, but they will need approval of the city council in order for them to move forward with alcohol at that event.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the event? Nope. Can I get a recommendation, please?
Yeah.
Recommended consent?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have one discussion item tonight from Justin Carroll with an update on activity related to the World Cup.
So there's apparently this big soccer tournament that starts up next week if you've been living under a rock. And so my report is just to kind of give an update on a lot of things staff has been looking at. Hopefully there was a lot of good background in here. It kind of talks about the time frame, the matches that Kansas City has. We included some attachments in there specific to the Region Direct route, which is what KC 2026 will be running out of the Mission Transit Center. That will be running from here down to the FanFest site at Liberty Memorial. And then next to that will also be the Johnson County Link route. And so those times are in there, and they're decent overlap on those when that will be running. And that's the internal circulator route throughout Johnson County, which can connect you to numerous other sites that then you can take down there as well. The primary thing I want to focus on has kind of been our biggest concern when this kind of really got on our radar as we've been moving along would be this attachment that's up there. Just kind of wanted to walk through this with you all just to give you a layout of everything we've been looking at and how we're kind of planning to address all of the influx of folks that are going to be using transit during the next 6 weeks or so. And so just kind of starting, as you know, where the transit center is towards the left side of that graphic. So the way it's going to actually work operationally is the green box there is where the KC 2026 buses will be running from. Those will be the larger ones that will be going down to the Liberty Memorial. The black box there on the west side is Johnson County United. So, and that's specific in that sense that that is where their motor coach buses that'll have the branding that the Joco United on there. That's where they'll be running out of the most southernmost stop there. So while all of that's going on the rest of those locations, regular transit will be occurring in this area as well. So, they've been coordinating and everything. They feel confident in that, but there will be a lot of activity going on with the buses and everything, but that's how that will be operating. One thing that's not marked on this map is next week, Johnson County's coming out. They will be dropping Jersey barriers on the north and the south side of Mission Mart's parking lot so that you can't get through and to pull into where all that bus traffic's going to be going. And staff, we've had we've sat down with Mission Mart and kind of touched base with them and given them a lay of the land and everything. So they're up to date, and as well as kind of some of that's going on. Additionally, so then to utilize the transportation, the primary lot will be the red square directly to the south, which is the lot where the Encore will be going eventually. But for the meantime, that'll be kind of overflow. We'll have signage out there that just kind of notes like soccer, park and ride. This is where to go. Just basic yard signs, but just trying to mark that for folks. That's the spot that we want you to park at. To the west side of that lot was just kind of the designation. We'll have some bike racks out there for folks if they want to take advantage of that to utilize the transportation. We'll try to push ride share there. I think people will end up self-selecting on that one. So I don't know if that'll really go, but that's the thought process there. The blue box that you see on the upper right corner of the graphic is the Wild Oats parking lot. And so we've got an agreement in place, and that is the backup for overflow parking if needed. And we've gone through and marked off, the light pole bases that have no light poles on them anymore. They're marked off and everything. So hopefully no one would run into those. Lastly, on this map, you'll see the little orange box there. So that's the current, if you ever see the little shed, it's not a shed, but the little outbuilding that the county has there. So we will be putting portable temporary restrooms directly on the north side of that. So there will be an ADA unit, 2 regular restrooms, a hand washing station. We've got that set to be monitored starting at least 3 times a week, and the contractors on board, they're going to work with us. If we need to up that, we'll up the service. If we need to take it down, we're not seeing the utilization, whatever, but just fully prepared to just as needed to make sure that doesn't get messy, for lack of better words. So we'll stay on top of it. Yeah, so we will open them on the mornings when everything's open. So I guess related to that, so Public Works will be going through and running trash every day through here. So we will have Public Works, they'll open them up in the morning. And then depending on, and you can kind of see the schedule, if it's a match day and it's super late, or if it's just a normal Fan Fest day, the police department will be coming through at night. We'll be locking the bathroom. So they won't be able to have 24-hour access to them. Only when Fan Fest and transit is operational will the restrooms be available. And so as I mentioned, we're monitoring the trash too. So 7 days a week, we will be coming through there in the area to make sure that that's stayed on top of that. And then lastly, I will find out tomorrow exactly. We've got street banner pulls coming. So we'll get those. We got some additional signage coming from the official KC 2026 signage, banners, all of that stuff. So we've got some of that coming, along with we ordered some specific signage, like they're literally like 8x11s, but it talks about from KC 2026, it's the Region Direct route. It kind of talks about, it'll have a little layout of the mission area. It'll talk about these are all the areas you can get on, you can go down. So we'll kind of plaster some of those up down around the transit side as well. So all of those materials are in transit. So we got a few days, but we'll get those and get all of that up there as soon as we kind of get our hands on it. Yes.
I put candles out in the hopes that all these orange cones will be gone next week.
For which area?
Johnson.
No, they will not.
They will not. But the transit won't be going through there.
The transit will not be going through there. So
It's just for the look of the city.
Yeah.
I know.
But as you come down east, we'll have some very pretty banner poles, some additional signage and everything like that.
And kudos to Public Works. They've been out. I think they were power washing today at the transit center. I walked down at lunchtime and there were no people but a hose. So, and so we've gotten that cleaned up. They've also set recycling containers. I know Councilmember Kring had asked that question. So,
Did I forget anything?
no, I mean, we haven't had very many of our businesses. We've tried to promote on several occasions, getting businesses to get themselves activated in the KC 2026 app, and we just haven't seen a lot of that. We're going to do another push. Probably we'll post something.
They said the same thing in the Mission Mart meeting too.
I know, but we have walked them to the water.
Let them
and
down, yeah.
I cannot make them drink. Mission Mart will be doing a banner on the east side of their building, really advertising their restaurants, and kind of working with that. So I think they have the greatest opportunity, obviously, to sort of capitalize on that. Our Mission Market's included on the app. Sandhills,
Sandhills, RJ's, Rally House.
Rally House,
I think those are,
and Elliott Row Flowers.
which is a new flower shop just over here on Woodson. So we hosted the business forum back at the beginning of April, and we may have seen Mayor Fleur on the news as a result of that. But it was a great way to touch base with our businesses and provide some of those resources, how to get activated on the app, like Laura's talked about. So those slides were emailed out to everybody who attended. We had about 35 or 40 attendees. We also built a webpage on the city's website dedicated to soccer and World Cup activation, and one of the categories in there is business information, and that information is there along with my slides from the business forum. So now I think it's just sort of a targeted effort to try and convince them to take that step, and it's very simple to get activated through the Department of Commerce through the FIFA app. So
Yeah, we shared
you wanna go
we share the link directly with the leasing agents at Mission Mart and encourage them to get that out directly to their tenants.
And I didn't look, is our World Cup page now like prominently featured on the website homepage? I didn't.
Not yet. We want to
on
add,
that.
well, yes, but we need to update with this parking and some of the
Okay.
additional things.
But like, it's clear if you go to the homepage, like where to find.
So I think there's one more parking map that Lauren and Justin are working on. Once that's done, we can add those resources onto that World Cup page, and then we would do a blog post so that it's at the very front of the web page, and it'll link to that page.
Nice.
Some more social media, because we do have some information about transportation on there, and safety and security and business activation.
And I did, if you drive past there in the next couple of days, I walked it today, and Sunflower needs to mow their grass along the front of their parking lot, and there's a tree limb down, but we will address that before we get to next week, and then we'll just hang on to our soccer scarves and see what happens.
If you care to sample at least the Johnson County version of this, starting on the 9th, they're doing 2 free days of transit, and then everything gets going on the 11th, which is the first day of FanFest. So just
And Justin, I know, because I was kind of sad, the 2 routes, you do have to get 2 separate passes. And do you also
Same
have
app,
to
but
pre-buy the passes?
I-
Or it's all on an app? It's not
yeah,
like
you
can
just
go
have
to the
to, you
transit
just get them
center.
and yeah.
You can't get on the bus and throw your coins in the.
Yeah.
You have to,
Yeah.
everything runs through the app. So
Okay.
it is 2 different passes with
But the
different
same app.
pricing, but you have, yeah, but
Okay.
it is the same app.
Same app.
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing I would say is I was at a meeting on Friday night, and the commission, the Johnson County Commission and Becky Fast and everything are really excited about this, and a great opportunity to highlight what the bus
The
route
transit
can
system,
do.
Yep.
And hopefully more people will start using it. So thank you for addressing those issues.
First of all, the bins that you have you got bigger trash bins? Or are you just looking at the same size? Because I'm just a little worried about that.
Same size, but there's God,
Same size, we
8
added recycling, but there's 8 or 9.
There's 8 or 9 down there. We added recycling, and then it's on the schedule. They'll be going through daily to actually for the upkeep.
Good job.
Yep.
I mean, they really do. But
Yep.
then the other thing is just give me the rationale for locking up the toilets.
Unhoused people.
Oh,
will go in there. Yeah, they'll get vandalized and such. They'll just keep it open.
Overnight, they tend to
Overnight,
get
they-
that on fire,
Yeah, they'll just-
a variety of different things that you don't want to have happen, just the vandalism and yes.
It's really strongly recommended by the company that we use for the market, which is the same company that we're using
They're
for
just,
this.
they draw attention, like to congregate in, especially the ADA units and everything. So it was just highly recommended that you lock them just to eliminate potential nefarious activity.
Yes, ma'am. We lock those.
Yep.
They're locked at the end of the market night and they're unlocked in the morning, or they're unlocked when the market starts. And that will be the same practice for the one unit we'll have out at Broadmoor Park for the market.
Any other questions or comments?
Good job.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, it's in the write-up, but yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
So we're hosting a match day at the market. It's in conjunction with the Mission Market on June 25th. So that's a 6 p.m. start game, which worked out nicely for us because the market is on that night. And it wasn't a 9 p.m. start where we were trying to figure out crowds. So Laura found a really great resource of a really large LED screen with sound that will come out. So she and Justin have been coordinating that piece. We'll have extra market food trucks. We have both of our breweries that will be on site that night. So I hope you come out and join us. It's free. Anybody's welcome to come and watch and sort of celebrate the World Cup in Kansas City.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, I know we had department updates earlier, but are they any additional? Okay.
I just have boring ones. So if you recall, I think last month just gave you a primer that we're about to roll out organizational wide the cybersecurity training. So we'll be sending that out to all staff Thursday or Friday. So you all will get those emails as well from Wiser. And then what I will do just to make that more clear is I'll send you a follow-up email from myself and I'll explicitly tell you what trainings outstanding that you have and everything, just so you can make sure you've got you're tracking it's not spam or anything like that. But they're pretty easy. Depending on how many you have, maybe 30 minutes absolute max.
In addition to the ones we just completed like last month? Okay.
If they were outstanding, then you will have new ones coming because this will be the entire for the news cycle. Yeah, it's like an annual one. Yep.
Okay.
So I will let you know if you have what ones you have outstanding.
And I believe I sent an email yesterday, but I fell asleep last month and we typically talk about June is the time when we change committee chairs and vice chairs. As long as we have it done by the first council meeting in June, we're in good shape. So I would encourage you all to have whatever conversations you typically have around that, but we will include a new business item at our June 17th city council meeting to elect committee chair and vice chair for both Community Development Committee and Finance and Administration Committee. That's all I think we have.
Thank you. Well, if that is all, it is now 7:49 p.m. and with no further discussion, that concludes the meeting of the Finance and Administration Committee. Again, this video will be made public on our website at missionks.org. Thank you.